Only now I do realize the very big stronghold alcohol has. It's like any other addiction. You just cannot break out on your own. I saw the people even then who were on the street begging, and now of course there's so many more. And I somehow was always, in the midst of my travels, was always able to, I tried to detect from it, look away from. But deep down in my heart, I always knew that God wanted me to see that stuff. And yet, at the same time, I was in the same boat as they are. Our family came from more of the mountain area, but I was born in Zurich, had always a feel for the city. I remember being with my mother in the kitchen, helping her, doing some preparation for lunch. I was about 13, she was prompting me, what would you think about becoming a chef? My dad got a wind of that, and sooner than later I was already an apprentice with about 15 years old in the next closest hotel to us. When, as much as I was eager to learn about the cooking and as eager I was to want to learn and be the best chef at that time as I could, I was introduced to alcohol, and I think that was a turning point in my life, an introduction to something which I didn't know how to handle.
I was doing hotel management at what was to be the opening of the biggest and best hotel in Sydney, and he was one of the chefs there. And part of my training was to do purchasing, to pretend to be the purchasing manager for a month. So that was my job, and I had to procure things from the kitchen. So.
We started to date, we started to dream big about things we wanted to accomplish, not just in Australia, but also overseas.
The problem with it was, which I didn't know when I first met him, that he really drank an awful lot. I wasn't a big drinker and not terribly, I loved a good party, but I wasn't a wild sort of person. But so right from the early days, it was a relationship that was very difficult actually because of alcohol.
We then moved to Switzerland, again on our journey, very excited about things to come and perhaps to have a family. But again, I realized, and more than me, Louise realized that she can't keep up with me in that way, that she will lose me to alcohol, that alcohol was at times more important to me than our relationship, which had great potential. At one point, Louise decided to let go of that and moved back to Australia.
We were done. I was going home. It was I was really definite this time that it wasn't working out. And his sister had said to him, who is a lovely girl, I love her so much, and had said, Hannes, you and Louise probably aren't going to make it unless you make some changes in your lives, both of you. And you've really got to get yourself sorted out. And the way to do that is to go to God. So, which was all very news to, I didn't understand what she even meant by those comments.
I knocked on a particular church which my sister told me about, and I had an appointment with a pastor.
Yeah, Hannes was just like he does things. He was in, hook, line and sinker. He just accepted God and ran with it. Whereas me, I was a bit more cynical and broken in my own way, so I just sort of treaded very carefully behind him, watching and wondering what all this is about. But very slowly for me, I just got it. I can't say it any other way than that, but I just got whatever it is. It meant everything to us. It was just, it completed us, it's rescued us. We would never be here today, we'd never be together.
So a new chapter in my life began with 28, when we had our firstborn son, James, in Switzerland, and we decided to move back to Australia. I was again then a born-again Christian. I was someone who knew that there was more to life than just going through life and raising a family. It was a wonderful training ground for those 20 years to not just see my beautiful children grow up and to make a great contribution to the Perth community in helping others to establish community kitchens. But we felt that there is another place for us where we need to go and to make a difference. And it was about 4 or 5 years ago from now that I felt and sensed that we may need to go back to Canada and make a difference here. A vision birthed in my heart about what it could look like that we can help this community here in Vancouver. And the name Soul Kitchen came, which is more than just feeding people, but it is about the soul, caring about the soul. Our pastoral heart grew towards this city without even yet being here.
I think the outstanding thing about Vancouver is the loneliness and the isolation of people. And I think if Soul Kitchen can be a weapon against that and use food just to, draw people together, to create family groups wherever we go. I like the word kinship, rather than just being a Soul Kitchen as service provider. It's not a service provider as it is a family maker, a community builder, a kinship group.
Soul Kitchen is what it says. It is about food, it is about serving people, and it is primarily helping about the souls. To help people to find life, to have a fulfillment in their life, to invite Jesus into their life. It was the perfect name for what we meant to do.